All right. Hello. Hi, everyone. What a nice crowd. Wow. Okay. Hi, I'm Rakhi Sharma, and I'm an open source software engineer working on Servo. I work at Igalia in web platform team. I'm also a Servo technical steering committee member. And if you want to find me on internet, on GitHub, or anywhere on internet, I go with username ATB Rakhi. Even before I go into the project itself, I want to know how many of you have heard about Servo project. Wow, how many of you work on or with Rust programming language? Great, great. Wow, what a great crowd. It's a perfect mix. I'm so happy to see some hands up there. Cool. So, okay, this is not working. No worries. I can go back. For the folks who don't know what Servo project is, we like to call it web rendering engine for the future. It is written in Rust with WebGL and WebGPU support, and it is adaptable to desktop, mobile, RPIs, and you can embed Servo in applications. Servo had a long journey so far. Some of you might be very curious about what is happening to Servo, where it is right now, because if you look at the journey of Servo, it's like it starts at 2012. It started at modular research, and it had pretty good time around 2016, 17, 18. It was at its highest. Folks were working on different parts of the Servo, adding WebGL, WebGPU, WebXR, like bits of almost everything. But around 2020, things went a bit south when Mozilla layoff impacted the Servo team. And around the same time, it joined Linux Foundation, and talks about restarting Servo started. But who will start Servo project? If you have worked in open source community, or if you are familiar with browser world or rendering engine world, you know it is a big project. And even though there were some folks from the original team trying to maintain this project in their personal time, if you have worked in open source project, you know that working on such project in your personal time is not enough, even just to maintain this project. And to restart this project, one of the biggest blocker was to find folks with experience. And I couldn't think of anyone better than Igalia, maybe because I work there, but also they have quite a lot of folks who have experience with web rendering and web rendering engine and browser itself. How many of you have heard of Igalia in any way? Wow, you all. okay, you all surprised me. Thank you. It's good to know that you all already know about Igalia. Igalia has been in pretty much almost everywhere when it comes to open source. So some of you already know that Igalia contributes to almost all the rendering engine, WebKit, Chromium, and now Servo. So in 2023, the project was restarted at Igalia, the team was formed, and in 2024, here we are continuing the project and doing quite a lot of work around. Even when I say that at Igalia, we have folks who have decades of experience working on browser and rendering engine. Even one of my teammate, Martin, he has worked in Servo during initial days, and he still works on Servo right now. So he has huge experience. And even another teammate, Oriol, he reads specification like it's his native language, and the implementation he do after the specification reading is super crazy. I mentioned that Servo started in 2012, and Servo and Rust has a pretty interesting story. I'm not sure if many of you know or not, but Servo and Rust started around the same time, at the same place, Mozilla Research. And when there was a team working on Servo, and there was another team working on Rust, and they were helping each other move in a way where Rust programming language team will implement features, they will use that feature in Servo, and then they will see how it is working. feedbacks will be exchanged, and based on that, they will improve Servo as well as the Rust programming language. Now, Rust has moved on to become a pretty mature programming language, while Servo had some slow times, some ups and downs, but I'm still very happy to see where Servo is right now. Contributions over time, if you see there, it's pretty hard to see where is 2012, but you can imagine from the 2014 where it is. And you can see, like earlier I mentioned that around 2016, 2017, we had like pretty high times for Servo where lots of folks were working. And then you can see around the 2020, it went pretty much down, 21, 22, pretty much no work there. And then around 2023, the project restarted again and some work has been done, and we are continuing that work. In 2024, you can see that we are pretty much back to how it was around 2015, and I would love to see this project go up like how it was in 2017 and 2018. I have been talking about what happened before, but it's 2024, and where we are right now, we are focusing on embedding, layout, and benchmarking. These are not just three specific things that we are focusing on, but there are lots of things going on. We have folks who are focusing on web GPU support, WebGL support, but today I want to talk about these specific things because I personally feel like this is most important for the folks who wants to try out Servo. When I'm talking about embedding, I want to show you some examples around what are we doing with embedding, how we are working with other folks who are wanting to use Servo. One of our aim with embedding is to make Servo easy enough for other folks to use. We as developers can add lots of features, and if we are not providing a way for you to test Servo, how you are going to know what is happening. Sure, if you're a developer, you can go and set up a repository and clone and run the project and see how it is happening. But we want to make it easy for folks who don't want to go through that pain. And we have come quite a long way right now because we started the embedding work end of the year last year, and I will show you some examples how it is happening right now. And so far, we have managed to run Servo on embedding devices, RPIs, and OpenHarmony. We also have it running on Android, but for some reason, I don't have Raspberry Pi with me today. I always have it. I have personally run Servo on Raspberry Pi 400 and 500. I wish I had it today. Just to walk you through some examples how and who we worked together with to integrate Servo or embed Servo in the project. First example I wanted to show you is the Tauri, Rai, and Servo. Rai is a web view library for Tauri, if you don't know. But UV from Tauri team, and it's UV and his team worked with Servo team together to embed Servo. This work was sponsored by NLNet, so thanks to them quite a lot because it wouldn't have been possible. This was one of the initial work that we did for embedding part. And if some of you are front-end engineers, it is as easy as that you write some HTML, CSS, and the rendering part is taken care by Servo. And as a user, you don't even need to worry about the integration because the integration part was done by Rai. And if you are curious about this project, you just need to do one thing. You just need to find the Rai repository on Tauri's GitHub, and you will find the branch Servo where they did this experiment. Another example I have for you is Verso. Before I mentioned, UV and his team worked with us to integrate Servo in Rai. UV went ahead and he decided to build a browser using rendering engine, Servo. And it has been coming so far very interesting. It is very early stage, but we are so happy to see folks taking more steps to try out Servo and see how it is happening. If you are curious about Verso, we have a blog post where we talked about how they are making this browser and what are their plans with it. I'm also going to show you later how it is happening. Another example I have is Dioxys. Dioxys did a bit of interesting thing. They did not take the whole rendering engine and embed it in Servo. What they did is like they took one small part that is Stylo, and then they tried to use Stylo with Blitz, and it worked great for them. I know that some of you might not be like, don't talk about CSS or something, HTML or something, but this was very important part because we are talking about a rendering engine, and the most important part for a rendering engine is to render the layout and to render a website. Doesn't matter where you use the server, where you are using, which device you are using on. One of the most important work is to render the website that you are trying to load in a nice way. So they took Stylo, and then they are using it with the Blitz, and they use the Stylo for CSS styles and the match and the selectors matching. We also learned from this experience when an organization or developers come to us and ask questions about the problems they are having. Let's say they are trying to embed Servo somewhere, and then they have problems. They encountered some problem, some features that we don't support yet. So they come to us and say, hey, this is not supported. Can you help us? And we try to help them in a way. And after working with Tauri and Dioxys, we realized that we can make their life a bit easier. If you have worked with Rust and you're familiar with cargo and such, you know it is complicated when it comes to dependencies. And Stylo was part of Servo within the same repository. We learned from Dioxys experience. We thought maybe there are other folks who would like to do similar things at Dioxys. So what we did is we took out Stylo from Servo project and then created a separate repository so that if one of you decide to use, I just want to use the Stylo part of Servo, I don't want to use the whole Servo and build some application or build something out of it. It's easier now. And one of the surprises for us was KDAP-Qt. This was something that came out as us to surprise because we didn't know that they were doing something like this, or they were trying servo rendering engine. We only got to know when they decided to publish a blog post and show how they did it. So what they did was they tried to run Servo inside a Qt. They have a CXX Qt library that they used as bridge. And in previous examples, all the examples that I have shown you, Dioxys and Tauri and Verso, it was a Rust project trying to integrate Servo that is also a Rust project. KDAP-Qt was different because they were trying to use Servo that is written in Rust in a C++ applications. So CXX Qt that they have was an interop, that is an interop between Rust and Qt, came to their rescue, and they were able to integrate Servo pretty nice, as you can see in the screenshot. Not forgetting about the Minibrowser. This is today, right now, if you go to Servo website and download the nightlies from there, this is what you're gonna see. This is what you will see if you install it in your desktop or even on Android. And this was one of the work that we did initially that motivated us to do more work on the embedding side because we received so much input and love from community for this. And just to show you a bit how it was, okay. Can I do this? We have quite a, yeah, you can see it perfectly. This is how it looks. We have been doing quite a lot of work. We have been adding tabs and such. Just so you, I'm just gonna copy this here and probably paste it here because I want to show you some demos, how Servo is doing, and what you can test on Servo. We have this demo website where what we do is, like, if we come across something that will test a feature of Servo, we just put that example here so that if you, let's say if you want to say, I want to check FPS, how Servo is doing, right? So you can go here and see how Servo is doing. Right. We have compared it with like other rendering engine as well, and it is pretty interesting. And this is cat portal. I'm not gonna open it. I'm a cat lady. I think I'm very tempted. This is my photo gallery where you can zoom. Like, so the idea behind all these demos is to test Servo's feature, because I just opened the website and it is rendering fine, and you can see that, okay, that means that layout is pretty much working fine. So we have some of the demos here that you can test. If you don't have a Raspberry Pi, but you want to see how it is looking on a Raspberry Pi, we have some recordings here that shows like how it is looking on Raspberry Pi as well. And earlier I mentioned that you can find the nightlies on our website. You can find all the nightlies here, and macOS, Windows, we support almost all the desktop. We have Android and OpenHarmony as well. If you have Android right now, you can download and check out Servo and report bugs if there is any. And then if you're curious about how someone is building a browser using rendering engine, we have a very cool blog post that was written by my colleague Dylan and UV, who initially wrote this blog post about how they are building Verso. So definitely check it out. You can find everything on Servo website. But I'm going to go back to the Minibrowser and talk a bit more about layout. I will be very quick on this part. There are lots of layout work going on. We have been adding floats, table, flexbox, font fallback. If some of you, I don't know if we have folks from Japan, China, Korea or not, or if some of you know this language, but you can see that we have those, we have added support for this. We have added support for right to left languages. And on the left side, you can see all this small work. Like, this is something, even you are a front-end engineer, you don't really use it on a regular basis, but it is important to note that how big of a role it plays when you are browsing web. And it is not just limited to floats, flexbox, and tables. There are small things that is like implementation is pretty big, but still they play very important role in that. And after the layout work, we have benchmarking. We had like quite a lot of folks asking, how is Servo doing? And what is the plan? How I can see why things are taking so much time, or what is causing it to slow down? And recently, we landed new experimental profiling support in Servo, where you can see in this screenshot, what I did was just ran a small demo and see, okay, how and which function probably is causing this website to slow down, or what is taking so long time. And it was like as simple as just uploading the profile and just me going here, checking out what is causing the problems here. I just took a screenshot to show you here how we can track down to the functions and what is taking so much time so that later we can improve. This was one of the things that we have been asked from community quite a lot. So I'm very happy to see that it has landed, and we have been instrumenting across all over the code base right now. And one of the other requests from the community was to like, how is Servo doing as compared to other rendering engine? This is the question that lots of folks are asking. So what we did a report on how Servo is doing. And if you are interested in finding that report. You can always find this on Servo Wiki. We have it published there. You can also see how a particular part of Servo, so a rendering engine is filled with quite a lot of steps, right? You have JavaScript part, you have JavaScript engine, you have layout, you have scripts, and quite a lot of things. And you can see how it is performing as compared to the other parts of the rendering engine. This was the work we are doing. Earlier, I said that we see Servo as a rendering engine for the future, but that future is not too far. At least in my opinion, it is not too far. We already have Servo running on Android. You can right now go to servo.org and download the nightly version and run it on your Android phone. You have we recently landed support for OpenHarmony. We had one of the contributors sending us quite a lot of PRs, adding support for OpenHarmony. And we worked together with them to land support for OpenHarmony and to also add how to do it for other contributors if they also want to run Servo on OpenHarmony or on Android, how you can build it and how you can even contribute to the code base on our Servo wiki. And we actually have a Servo book where you can really read about all the parts of the Servo to understand what is happening in script, what is happening in the layout, and also how to contribute to the project itself. In the opening talk, Mark emphasized on the importance of community. And I personally also believe that open source project is nothing without its community. So while as a project last year we decided that it is very important for us to let other folks know what is happening with Servo project, what are our plans and how we are taking it out of the maintenance mode. This year, we decided to take an extra step and decided to also give back to the community. We participated in the last round of Outreachy. If you're not familiar with Outreachy, it is a 3-month paid internship program. It happened twice a year. We already participated in summer, and our intern, Ari, helped us landing support for DevTools. If you have ever worked with layout or just the front-end part, you know how important DevTools is. And we are participating again this round in the winter. We are looking forward to having some new folks contributing to Servo project. And we already have lots of contributions coming in, actually. So we are also looking for new contributors. If you are interested, please check out Servo Wiki for sure. And what is next? While what is next part is something where I personally really like to include the technical part. I have included the technical part, but it is in the bottom because this time I wanted to include some other parts that is non-technical but as important as the technical one. We want to grow the health ecosystem, and we want other organizations to join our effort. We had few organizations and individual contributors who wanted to try Servo and embed it into different applications and see what they can do with it. And we want to continue doing this. Of course, I invite like different organizations. If you are interested, please reach out. And the most important part, the public and private sector funding, that is also very important. We are an open source project, and projects like Servo, and there are also many other open source projects that need funding for sure. And next year, we also want to continue working on performance, benchmarking, and there are lots of HTML and CSS features that is missing from layout and the rendering engine itself. So we would also love to continue adding those features. And yeah, you can also support us. You can sponsor us on GitHub. You can also donate to us on Open Collective. We already have 350 folks who are donating and supporting us. If none of that works for you, you can also email us at join@servo.org. And if you are interested in contributing to Servo, you're just one step from it. You just need to check out the Servo repository on GitHub, We have Servo book there, we have Servo wiki there, and if you get stuck even after reading the wiki or the Servo book, you can always reach out to us on Servo Julep chat. We have lots of contributors and the maintainers helping other folks to send PRs and to work on different features. And we are always looking into growing the community around the project. We are also on social media. Find us. Thank you for coming and listening to me.
Thank you so much. So if you have any questions right now, I think we have maybe chance to take 1 or 2 questions. If you'd like to ask a question, we have microphone 1, microphone 2. You can just stand up and walk to them and ask your question.
Or you can, okay.
Okay, let's just wait. Yes, we have a question, please.
Can you tell us a bit more about the experience you had with Outreachy, both for yourself and for the intern?
I think, okay, yeah, it is working. Yeah, sure. We had a very interesting experience when we applied. I think, I guess do you want to know about the contribution part or the whole internship program part?
No, I'd like to hear what the experience was like for you, what you learned from the experience, for example, as an open source project.
Yes, for sure. I think one of the important things that we learned was we need lots of easy to fix issues, and we need to be available in the start for the folks and for the new contributors. Because the folks who are coming to or participating in Outreachy program, they are either early career folks or they have breaks in your career or they are trying to change career. So it was important for us to be there for them. And during the internship, we had a great experience. Our intern, Ari, was very active in sending pull requests and asking questions. That was the most important part. On the organization side, for mentors, I think Outreachy made it very smooth for us to put our project on their website, to participate in the program itself. That was more on the organization part, but overall, we had great experience, and that's why we decided to participate again in this winter round as well.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for your question. And we have time maybe for one more question. Yes, please go ahead.
Hello, thanks for the talk. You mentioned that there is a Qt binding for Servo. Mm-hmm. My understanding is that there's going to be a performance impact likely between translating from Rust to C++, because there's going to be more bindings in the way. Those are still binding with the Chromium engine it uses, but is there a significant performance impact compared to just having, say, a different Rust native UI in Qt, or is it about the same?
So just to clarify, the binding is not maintained by us. It is CXX Qt that is maintained by KDAB. I think they are the folks behind this binding. And also it is important to note that Servo also have mod.js that also has binding. So I'm pretty sure there are some performance, I won't say issue, because we are still pretty much at experimental stage, right? So performance is the second thing. Getting it to work is the first thing. So I'm pretty sure the KDAB folks had issues, but I don't remember them mentioning either in their blog or to us that they had performance issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that's all the questions that we have. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.